Tell me how to be closer to you. Tell me how and I'll do it, babe. Cause I just wanna make you feel what I do about you. So just tell me how and I'll do it, babe. I love it when you whisper in my ear, words only meant for me to hear. Promise that your secret's safe with me. You're the only reason, yes, you're the only reason. Baby, you're the answer to my prayers. Feeling like the world's in our hands. Now I know that this is meant to be. You're the only reason, yes, you're the only reason I'm free.
Guys, so in today's video I'm going to be talking about digestion. I know, it's so interesting. But more specifically, I'm going to be talking about bulimia and how it has affected my digestion over the years. So yes, as you've seen, I had oats for breakfast. This is so normal for me. Like don't even get me started. I love oats so much. I'm definitely a person of habit. I will have oats 6 out of 7 days a week. Most likely 7, unless I'm actually doing something with someone else, which at the moment, no one's doing anything with anyone else. So I'm having oats 7 days a week. So the first digestive issue that I want to talk about in today's video that was caused from having bulimia is acid reflux. And I feel like this is something that if a few years ago someone had said to me, I would have been like, oh, that's not that bad. Like, you can deal with some acid reflux. But I want to actually go into some detail about how much this can affect you on a day-to-day basis. So pretty much everyone has dealt with acid reflux before in their life. It's something that we've all gone through. It's sucky, but it's not the worst thing, you know, like it might last a day or two and then it will go away. But I personally deal with acid reflux probably 5 days out of the week, and this will be all day as well. You think that acid reflux is such a basic thing, but the amount that it can affect you is just absolutely ridiculous. Yes, I do deal with it a lot more than your everyday person, but that is because of my bulimia. And you have to imagine when you are inducing vomiting yourself, when you are causing yourself to purge every day, multiple times a day at some points for years, your body is going to get very used to that action of bringing food up. So it's only going to become normal that when you start to keep meals and snacks and food in general down, that your body is going to continue to do what it's used to. So it is going to try to bring up your food. And this is what causes my acid reflux, among other things. But it is very, very difficult to have a normal life. Like, you wouldn't think that acid reflux affects you that much, but it really does. And oh my god, my poor sister has to deal with me 5 days out of the week saying, oh my god, my acid reflux is so bad today. Oh my god, I just wish my food would stay down. It is awful. It is an absolute terrible time. So just in a couple of ways I can kind of explain how this affects me on a day-to-day basis. If you imagine, you know, you're trying really hard to recover and so you're keeping down meals and things like that. If you are trying to recover from bulimia and your brain is already telling you to be sick after eating, imagine if your body is literally doing the action for you. At the start of my recovery, it was very, very difficult when my brain was already screaming at me to not keep food down. And then to add on top of that, my body actually doing the action of starting to bring food up. It was so difficult to try to not only get rid of those thoughts and fight against those thoughts and get stronger, but to also fight against my own body, which was physically trying to bring food up. It was so difficult to try to keep food down when my body was trying to bring it up. Sometimes I can't even go for a walk because my acid reflux is so bad. I can't stretch or anything like that, because can you imagine having acid reflux and then bending down and trying to touch your toes? Oh my god, it is not a good time. The next thing that I want to talk about is the fact that my digestion has slowed quite dramatically, and this is something that anyone with bulimia has definitely heard before. You've heard kind of the scary stories of people's digestion slowing and they can't digest certain foods and all that kind of thing, and I am definitely someone who is experiencing that on some level. My digestion has slowed quite dramatically and it is very painful. So for me personally, there are certain foods that my body just does not digest at all, and a perfect example of that is red meat. This is something that I know a lot of people actually struggle to digest anyway, and look, I'm not that mad about it because I don't really like to eat it in the first place, but that doesn't mean that it doesn't still affect me. I'm definitely someone who could go the rest of my life without eating red meat. I don't buy it. I don't eat it myself unless someone else makes it. A regular, healthy body takes a long time to digest red meat anyway. For me, it doesn't happen. It can be so painful sometimes. And I've got a high pain threshold. It can be insanely painful because it's like your body is working so hard to break down these foods, and because my body is weaker because of bulimia, it does not work. And another thing on top of that is that it is quite triggering when your body doesn't want to digest certain foods. And I think this is something a lot of people will understand if you're in recovery and you've got digestive issues, is that if you've eaten something and then your body doesn't want to digest it and you can feel it in your stomach, it's painful, you have acid reflux, it's so triggering to not make yourself sick just to get rid of that pain and to get rid of the acid reflux. This is something that I will be honest, I still struggle with. It's not a day-to-day thing. Like I said, I do have acid reflux 5 out of 7 days a week. I definitely don't fight that urge to be sick, but I still have to be honest with you guys because I tell you everything. And I do still struggle sometimes on the really bad days when I've got severe acid reflux and I have those thoughts come into my mind and they just say, you know, I know that you don't want to be sick, but you can just get rid of this pain if you just be sick once. It's not a big deal. It's just to stop the pain. But making yourself be sick, whether it's after binging or just eating a meal or to get rid of acid reflux, you're still making yourself vomit. And that's not something that that's what I'm trying to fight at the moment, because I'm in that stage of my recovery where I've worked so hard at the mental side that now it is fighting so hard for the physical act of quitting purging altogether. So it is very, very difficult to stop that when your body is literally fighting against you and trying to make yourself sick. It's hard, guys. It's really hard. But talking about how my digestion can be really hard with certain foods is the perfect way for me to lead into explaining why I choose the foods that I do. So for example, like I said, I always have oats for breakfast. I never find I get pain or anything like that. My body is fine with oats. I can eat a large amount of it and it's not a problem. Then for dinner, I'll usually also have a big meal. I know a lot of people don't like to have big meals before bed, but I just find over the years I've tried so many different things to see what I like and what is the most supportive for my own recovery journey, and I find 2 big meals plus 1 big smoothie for lunch is the way to go for me. So I do always have a smoothie for lunch, almost always. I say always, but like almost always. If it's really cold, I might want something else. I might want a hot meal or something like that, but usually I will always have a smoothie for lunch, and I find that that works really well for my digestion, is if I have 2 really large meals and then 1. Oh my god, my washing machine is so loud. Depending on the day, I obviously might be more hungry. Like recently I've been having a medium-sized smoothie, and then I'll also have a side plate of some snacky kind of things, which I will show you today because that's what I'm having. So now that we've spoken a little bit about acid reflux and digestion, all the good shit, now we can move into lunch, which today is going to be a smoothie and a side plate of snacks. And also we get an extra snack today because it was my birthday the other week, and so we have cake.
You better be there when I shake. Watch me rockin' if I can't stop. If I should fall, just go ahead. Go and catch me, baby. Ooh, I live it. That's my true to love, true to love. Ooh. tambourine. Bring a bass, we might be wicked. We may be forced to cause a scene. Make some trouble, baby. Ooh, I live it. That's my choo-choo-la, choo-choo-la. Ooh, I love it. Crank it up, yeah, yeah, yeah. Turn it up on a higher level. Turn it up, we got this. We got this. On a higher level. On a higher level. We got
Okay guys, so the next thing that I want to talk about today is kind of three things put together. So that is bloating, cramps, and headaches. If you're someone who has struggled with bulimia, then you have probably experienced the consequences of what happens when you start eating proper meals again, or when you start eating snacks and all the things that your body has been not used to for a while. Then you know that bloating, oh dear God, the bloating, that, oh my God, that, I feel like bloating in recovery is a whole freaking video on its own. It's a time. Let me tell you, it's a time. So yes, when you start eating again, or you start eating normally again, your body will experience bloating. And I honestly think that us as society kind of seem to think that there are some people out there that don't bloat. Like, that some people just don't bloat. And that's not, huh? That is not a thing at all. Everyone bloats. I feel like social media just has us thinking that there are people out there that don't deal with digestive issues or that don't bloat during the day. I mean, if you eat, you're gonna bloat to some degree, you know? Like, the food is in your body gonna get slightly bigger during the day. That's just normal. So I'm not talking about that kind of bloating. Not at all. Normal bloating is normal. I'm talking like next level. Like, I'm going to use the word swell because I feel like that works better, but it's not a swell time. So for me personally, my body definitely went through its stage of severe bloating 24/7. And when I say that, I mean I looked pregnant for a very long time. And I know that that's something that can kind of get in the way of people wanting to recover because they think, I don't want to look swollen and pregnant for a few months or however long it might take you. But honestly, in the long run, you kind of forget that it even happened because it's nothing. And I know that it seems like a big deal, but once you start, it kind of becomes the least important thing and you kind of get through that phase way faster than you think you will. But yes, at the end of the day, it is something that you can possibly deal with. I definitely did, and some days I still deal with that a lot more. Like I said, there are certain foods that my body doesn't want to digest, and therefore I will get severe swelling and bloating, and it could last a few days. It causes water retention, it can be quite painful, therefore I get cramps, and any kind of digestive issue can then lead to headaches, which I know a lot of people know. So that's why I put those three together, is because they do all kind of come hand in hand and they are awful. I know a lot of people say that if you have digestive issues, then having smaller meals is a really good thing to do because obviously your body can break down smaller meals. It's not so much stress and pressure on your gut. For me personally, I do definitely agree with this, but I don't like to have small meals, and that's okay. You know, I have to work with what works for me, but over the years of recovery, I have found that trying to recover from first anorexia and then bulimia, I work best with larger meals. And that is because when I found myself having multiple small meals a day, I felt like I was constantly thinking about the next meal that I was going to eat, and I was constantly thinking that I was hungry because each meal wouldn't really be big enough to keep me full. I find that eating large meals really does work for me because I just eat a big meal in one sitting. I'm full, I'm satiated, I feel good, I'm ready to go, I've got a bunch of energy. And then as soon as I start to lose my energy, I know I'm ready for another big meal again. And I find that my brain stops thinking about food, which is obviously a really good thing in recovery because you don't want the focus to be on food. But I find when I eat a big meal and I'm comfortable and I'm happy, then I don't think about food again for quite a few hours until my body's ready to have another big meal. And that really works for me because I think having small meals and then constantly thinking about what I was going to eat next, like that was just like still being in my eating disorder where I was constantly thinking about food. So yes, I do definitely think that because I have big meals, it doesn't help my digestive issues, but it helps me more mentally, and therefore I feel like I'm getting further anyway. So that's why I personally choose to have big meals instead of little ones. If there is anything that I've spoken about in today's video that you'd like me to talk more on, definitely let me know in the comments. Otherwise, leave anything you want. I love hearing from you guys. I love your support and your feedback. It means so much to me, and I really hope you enjoyed today's video. I'm going to end this video on the footage of my dinner for tonight, so I really hope you enjoy it, and I hope I see you in the next video. Bye guys.
Read my eyes, do I want to stay? If you thought you weren't made that way, it's the choices we make. We give and take, and I know you will keep trying. Said I think I know what you mean. Pretty good for a dumb machine. And you gave me that smile. We stood there for a while. That was when you woke